Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Adam Burke from BangTheBook.com, coming to you with a look at game 343-344. Michigan and Wisconsin, a massive game here in the Big Ten. And in some respects, this could be a playoff eliminator game. Wisconsin going to have to run the table to get there because the Big Ten West not as strong, at least according to the court of public opinion, as the Big Ten East. So this is a big game for them. And for Michigan, hey, they haven't beaten Ohio State on Jim Harbaugh's watch, and really haven't beaten Ohio State much over the last 15, 20 years. So it's a big-time game for both of these teams here in the Big Ten. We got coverage of this one and all of the Week 4 action over at BangTheBook.com. My college football power ratings posted over there. Lots of content coming throughout the course of the week. Same thing on the NFL side. We'll have Danny Vorgs' NFL power ratings on Wednesday night or Thursday. We'll have a lot of content for the NFL as we head on into the weekend. We cover a lot of stuff over at the website as well. WNBA, MLB, esports, NASCAR, UFC, soccer, tennis, bunch of stuff going on. NHL coverage going to start rolling out soon from Parker Michaels as well. So plenty of things for you to keep an eye on over at the website. And also, Bang the Book Radio. Every Monday through Friday, you can get the segments right here on our Bang the Book YouTube channel, or you can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud. We're all over the place with Bang the Book Radio. Make sure you check it all out. All right, so game 343-344 here. Michigan and Wisconsin. Wisconsin, 3.5-point favorite. Total of 43 in this one. I will say up front, I'm an Ohio State fan, born and bred. It's hard for me to say good things about that team up north, but you may be surprised with my pick here on this game. Look, games of the year at the Golden Nugget came out the last week of May. Michigan opened a 5-point favorite for this game back in the summertime. And in fact, Michigan took money on that opener. Line went up to 6.5 or 7 at some places. And now we're at Wisconsin minus 3.5. And I understand Michigan has struggled with Middle Tennessee State and Army. Very well could have lost to Army. Didn't love Army's play calling late in that game, settling for the long field goal. Had no chance at it. Didn't love the play calling for the Black Knights late in that game. And Wisconsin has done nothing wrong. Look, all you can do are play the teams that are in front of you. South Florida and Central Michigan were the teams in front of Wisconsin, and they've beaten them 110-0. So you got to give Wisconsin some credit for that. But this is a big step up in class. Goes without saying, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway. When you go from South Florida and Central Michigan to the team in Michigan, it's a big deal. It's a massive step up in class of competition. Now, of course, for Michigan, it's the same thing. Wisconsin is not Middle Tennessee State. Wisconsin is not Army. Maybe it helps that Michigan had to play a close game against Army, but for the life of me, I don't know why these Power 5 teams schedule these service academies. There's no equity in doing it at all. Look, it's great to help out the service academies. That's fine, but you get cut blocked all game. You've got to prep for a scheme that you're not going to see in your conference from any Power 5 team that's out there anymore. I don't get it. I don't understand the value in doing that. And from an evaluation standpoint, Oklahoma did it last year. Michigan did it this year. Teams struggle against the option when it's not week 1 of the season, when you don't have a lot of time to prepare for it. So I'm not too worried about that for the Wolverines. Was it embarrassing? Maybe a little bit. Was I rooting for Army? Hell yeah, I was. But to me, that doesn't diminish what Michigan's potential is and what their ceiling is for this season. Now, I have moved them down a couple points in my power ratings because this offense just isn't working. We thought Josh Gaddis would bring a more contemporary offense to this team, a better fit for Shea Patterson. So far, it hasn't worked out. The offensive line has not protected well. They've not opened holes for the running game. They've not given Shea Patterson the time that he needs to go through his progressions. That is a worry here in this game, to say the least. Now, for Wisconsin, look, Cohen looks pretty good. Jack Cohen looks good. Looks a lot better than Alex Hornibrook. So maybe this offense is a little bit more multidimensional for the Badgers. Would certainly help. I mean, you got a great running back there, of course, in Jonathan Taylor, but it doesn't hurt to have that level of balance, to be able to do play action, to be able to do a lot of those different things that really Big Ten offenses are kind of predicated on. So Wisconsin, I don't have a whole lot of bad things to say about them. Michigan, I got bad things to say about them, and not just because I'm a Buckeyes fan. The offense has been a mess. They got pushed around in the line of scrimmage by Army. That's not good, especially with an undersized Army defensive line. Still, this feels like an overreaction. This line is too high. Again, over the summer, it was Michigan -6, -6.5, maybe even -7. I don't see a 10-point adjustment to this number based on the two data points that we have. Early kickoff in Madison, still a very tough place to play there at Camp Randall. But maybe that subdues the crowd a little bit early on. Both of these teams coming off of byes. Could be a sluggish first quarter. Could be a slow start for both of these squads. But look, my number is Michigan plus 1.5. I think that would be a good number, 1.5, 2.5, something like that. 3.5 is just too high. Wisconsin being a favorite, fine. I get it. Michigan has not played well in their first two games. But Wisconsin is a 3.5-point favorite. That's a little bit too high. I will grant you this. Jim Harbaugh, as the head coach of Michigan, 13 straight losses in the underdog role. So if you're looking for Michigan outright, maybe not as easy to come across that one. But look, I mean, again, this is just one of those situations where I think there's an overreaction to what we've seen through two games. Maybe Wisconsin's a lot better than we thought. Maybe Wisconsin's going to bounce back. But this Michigan team, they're not as bad as they've looked, as much as it pains me to say that. So I'm going to go with the Wolverines here, plus 3.5 in this really, really big Big Ten matchup here on Saturday. Early kickoff, again, 11 a.m. local time in Madison. I'm Adam Burke for BangTheBook.com.